What can Graham Potter do to save Chelsea?
He needs to do a lot.
He does. Where do we even start with this
We're
one?
at a slippery slope at the club right now, and I don't know if he's going to be the man to do it. I would like to think he would, but I just don't know.
I agree. Now, I think we should start this discussion by talking about the elephant in the room.
Okay.
Now, he came in. He was
did.
appointed as manager coach.
Head coach, I believe. Yes.
Yeah. And then his first game in charge was postponed.
Yes, it was supposed to be Fulham.
Yes. Normally, that's a very disappointing prospect. However, in this sort of scenario, this situation, it's like, okay, he's got longer with the boys. He can kind of go through his tactics, his style of play, get across to them what he wants.
Yes.
Then we got our Champions League game against Salzburg.
Yep.
And I was nothing other than disappointed.
Yeah, it's a really weird one after watching that game because it's almost like we had bright spark moments, but it also, if you didn't tell me there was a new coach, I would not have believed that it just wasn't Tuchel still in the dugout.
I 100% agree.
And that was disappointing.
Yeah, even the starting team, like it just felt like he went, I'll just go with what they were doing.
Yeah, it is a weird one because I remember when Tuchel first came in, his first game, I believe, was a 0-0 against Wolves or draw. And he basically just played the similar kind of team that Lampard had been playing just before. Yeah. And then he kind of brought in his system. But that was when it was like he came in and it was like 2 days later he had his first game.
Yeah.
So that was more understandable. So I'm kind of just hoping this may be a case of Potter just kind of gone, okay, let's just not rock the boat too much too fast. And then I'm going to implement my ideas over time. We saw elements of it. I mean, we had Raheem Sterling playing as a wing back for one.
Yeah.
Which was a very strange thing.
It was, but I'm personally, and I think this is something that's quite not controversial, but some people will disagree. I'm a fan of trying shit. like let's go back to the Ranieri days.
Okay.
What was Ranieri's nickname, James?
The Tinkerman.
The Tinkerman. Why was that his name? Because he tinkered.
Yes, because he would make stupid substitutions at stupid times.
Yeah.
And he lost his job for it.
So I'm not people will disagree.
I'm not sure this is the best example.
No, but I'm saying I'm all for trying things.
Yes.
Like you don't know what your best team and system is until you play it competitively. And I know you can trial things in training, but it's basically, in my opinion, impossible to replicate a full competitive football match unless you're trying these things in an actual competitive football match.
Yeah, no, I do understand that. And Graham Potter was very good at Brighton for having taken players, say, the name escapes off the top of my head. The player that came in, he was supposed to be a winger. And then he ended up playing as a winger, as a wing back, as a striker, as a midfielder. It's Potter's thing is he likes everyone to be adaptable to all positions. He doesn't really want much of just someone who plays one position, that's it, and they can't do anything else. He likes everyone to be flexible in the way that they play. So I do understand that. However, sometimes you've got to look at a player, and I feel like it's happened in the past where there's been players you go, oh, they like, think of David Luiz, for example.
Yeah.
Everyone was always like, oh, stop playing him at centre back. Try him in midfield.
Yeah.
Because defensively, he could be liable at times, and he loved those marauding runs. It's like playing him as a defensive midfielder then. Like, he has an idea how to defend, but he can also go forward, and he had a hell of a pass on him.
Yeah.
However, tried it a few times, didn't exactly light up the world, and he ended up just back at centre back. It's an idea that quite often works better in practice than in reality.
But playing Sterling as a wing back kind of makes sense in my head. He's pacey.
Yeah.
He can run at players.
Yeah.
He can deliver a ball.
Yeah.
But notoriously, his finishing is inconsistent.
Yeah, but can he defend?
That's the problem.
So to me, you just described a winger, not
True,
a wing back.
True.
So playing him at wing back. Okay, in a game against someone like Salzburg where they're going to sit back, I can maybe understand that. It's almost like going, well, let's just have an extra winger attacker on the pitch. But say, okay, Man City come to town. They rock up at the bridge. And we got Sterling trying to defend against Mahrez. That's not going to go well.
No.
Like, it's just... I know, okay, it's an adaptable formation where you could go to more 5 at the back. The Cucurella can come out wide and play more as a left back, and then play it more that way. Like it's not as like straightforward as just it's a wing back and that's where he stays. He will come inside, he will overlap, it will all be like flowing. But I just don't see the purpose of it.
I get what you're saying, but for me, and I talked about being a fan of trying these things, you don't know what works until you try them.
Yeah.
Now, for me, what's more important than that is having, I don't know how to describe it, tactical flexibility is probably the best way of putting it.
Yes.
I think if you're able to try these things, you can see what works, what doesn't. You have a broader tactical arsenal.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Okay.
I think a lot of the problem with Chelsea over the last few years is we just keep trying the same stuff.
True. However, something that we have tried in the past is playing two wing-backs of Reece James and Ben Chilwell.
Yes.
We did that at the beginning of last season. We were top of the table.
Yes.
We looked like we could take that title off of Man City. However, they got injured. Chilwell stopped playing for, wing-back. And he hasn't really regained his position since.
Which I find mad, because every time he's come on...
Well, that's it. We've signed Cucurella, and it's like, oh, he's a perfect challenger. He keeps playing. But it was like, actually, he was kind of also signing so he could be a left centre-back at the same time. I know we've also got Koulibaly for that position, but it was kind of the idea then that Chilwell could play. Chilwell has played, and when he has, he's looked great. And we look like a better team with him. However, this time, goes, okay, let's play Cucurella. Let's drop Koulibaly because he's been dodgy. Let's play Cucurella there. It's like, okay, great. Chilwell and Cucurella could play in the same team. They're both great in attack. They're both great in defense. Actually, nah. Let's play Sterling there. It just doesn't make sense.
And Chilwell was on the bench, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
When we've got, I understand if there are injuries and you have to be flexible. Fine, no problem. When you've got such a great player who can play there and has proven when he's played there for Chelsea, he's been one of our best players. Reece James and Chilwell were debatably the best players when we were top of the table. I think it's hard.
Debatably.
Yeah, I think it's hard to argue against that.
Yeah.
Maybe put Kante in the picture as well.
Yeah.
But that Chelsea without Kante is a whole different debate.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, so I don't understand. That's where it feels Tinkerman-ish and going, let's try something different because I'm the new guy in and I want to put my stamp on this team.
Yeah, I agree.
Not going, well, actually, I have great players who play the positions I want to play. So let's just play them. Yeah. And I don't find that position has been an issue as much for Chelsea. The wing-backs has been our strongest.
Yeah.
Strikers is where we've been absolute rubbish. And already Sterling has the most goal contributions this season.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you take him from up top and bring him further
That's
back
a fantastic point.
and out wide.
That's a really good point.
I don't understand the logic there.
No, neither do I. And to be honest, I think what Potter was going to do with Cucurella and Chilwell was probably the thing I was most intrigued about going into this game. And when I saw the decision, like I saw the initial lineup and I was like, okay, that looks pretty strong. But then when it came to the game, it didn't. It just like, wait, what? Where's Sterling?
Yeah.
You know, yeah, and I just don't get it. Again, like you said, Chilwell is arguably one of our better players over the last few seasons when he's been fit.
Yes.
And even when he came on, what was the game when he scored? The game escapes me. But if you're a Chelsea fan, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It was a classy finish. It kind of bounced off his head. He turned, finished it smartly. He got man of the match that game, and he was only on for, 25 minutes?
Yeah.
Why does that not say enough? I think he started the next game after that, potentially, and then was dropped.
Yeah.
Why? This is Champions League. I know it's group stage, but after such a wavy start to the group stage anyway, we should be going. We should be going all in. We should be playing our absolute strongest lineup.
Well, yeah, we've put ourselves in a position now where we may not qualify for the knockout rounds. We may struggle to get Europa League, which is absolutely ridiculous. Almost classic Chelsea.
I don't think that'll happen.
But
I don't think we'll struggle for Europa League.
Well, we've played the two easiest teams.
Yeah.
And we're rock bottom. We've now got to play Milan home and away.
Yeah.
You know Tomori and Giroud are going to bring the goods against us.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. You just know it.
Yeah.
So I can't say we will get, I can't confidently say we will get more than 3 points out of those two games against Milan.
I think we will. I think we'll beat them away. And I think we'll struggle at the bridge.
But where does that leave us? Because then the other two are playing themselves. So their points will go up as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's one of those. Hopefully when the reverse fixtures come back around, we can pick up 6 out of 6 points on the other way. But we're not showing that we can yet.
I'm not confident in Champions League. I don't think we'll finish rock bottom of this group.
No, I mean, I hate to say it because it is the Champions League. I almost feel like we need to write off that competition this year.
Yeah.
We need to steady the ship, new ownership, new players, new manager now. Just
Let's go win some cups.
have a good run in the cup.
Yeah.
Just get the league kind of comfortable. Just get top 4 for one. If we don't finish top 4, that's not acceptable.
Imagine we don't get Europa League or top 4.
Yeah, I don't care what other teams have done, what they've bought, what form they're in. Chelsea need to finish top 4, and it will be a joke if we don't. Like, okay, Arsenal have started good. I still think Chelsea have the ability to finish above them.
Yeah.
Tottenham, everyone bangs on about them because of Conte, but it's Tottenham.
Good point.
Tottenham will Tottenham.
It's Tottenham. That's a good point.
Tottenham will always be Spursy. And okay, they might finish second if they really want to push it, like they did against Leicester. But remember, they failed to beat Leicester when they were the closest rivals, and by quite. What was the famous thing? They finished third in a 2-horse race.
Yeah,
because it was Arsenal, I believe, finished above them in the end, if I remember right. Anyway, but either way, Spurs are just Spurs. Okay, United, everyone's like, oh my god, they're playing amazing now. But the thing is, I don't see that lasting. I see it as a good run of form, not what you'd expect from them every week. So of those, yes, Chelsea go through our own problems, but we're a club that lives in turmoil. Yeah. We deal with this kind of stuff all the time. There's always something going on. I mean, look at last season. Like, it's one of the reasons why I don't feel like Tuchel should have been sacked, is because of all the stuff that happened to the club last year with Abramovich, and he still managed to get us to finish where he did. And get us to finals.
Our problems started around then anyway, and it feels like it's just continued on since then. So it's hard to blame Tuchel for any of that.
Yes. I understand that there's probably a bigger picture behind the scenes between Tuchel and Bowley and whatever was going on. And at the end of the day, if he was going to sack him at some point, just get it done.
Yeah.
Timing was always weird because of the transfer market, but that is what that is. I mean, I am all for getting behind Potter. I think he could potentially be great. It also just feels he could be just a slightly poor man's version, and I don't mean in a disrespectful way, but a poor man's version of Tuchel. His ideas don't necessarily feel a world away. It doesn't feel like we've gone, let's just pull up sticks and try again. It's kind of gone, this kind of works. Let's just see someone else's take on this.
Yeah. I mean, I get what you're saying, but for me, what's exciting about Potter is the hands-on. The fact that he is more of a coach than a manager. Obviously, he's a manager as well, but the fact that we've got a full hands-on coach. I'm more interested in seeing what he does with the guys on the training pitch and how that kind of transfers to real games with his tactics, if that makes sense.
Yes. However, I will put this to you. What then do you think is the main thing Chelsea need to address? What does Potter need to do? Task one, what should have been day one to help Chelsea?
For me, it's figuring out our strongest team, because I feel like over the last 2 seasons, we've been a little bit blurry about what our strongest lineup is.
Fair.
And I think that's an important thing to know. It's great to have depth, but I feel like you also need to know where your strength lies.
Yes.
And stick to that when necessary.
Okay. Fair enough. So
this is the obvious thing about scoring goals with our attackers, right?
Yes.
Stop relying on our wing backs to score for us.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think more important than that is knowing where our strength lies.
Okay. So will that also come with figuring out the right formation, or do you think the formation is sorted and the players aren't?
No. I think we're unsure our lineup and our formation.
Yes.
I don't think we know what we're best at.
Nope, that is very true. Yeah, I think we are struggling. Obviously, Potter is still trying to figure that out himself. That's why we have to give him time.
What would you say?
Hire a striking coach.
Okay.
I don't even know exactly how it works. A shooting coach. Just someone who can teach these players.
I'll do it.
How to finish. I'm not expecting every shot to be a goal. Not that. But Salzburg, 17 shots? 4 on target? 1 goal.
It's weird, like how it's so consistent. Yeah. We've had but it's a Chelsea thing. We've had some of the best strikers in the world over the years.
Yes, it's like Vietnam flashbacks for the list of strikers we've managed to take from greatness and turn into a joke.
Name me a striker we've had over the last 10 years.
Timo Werner.
Morata.
Shevchenko.
Higuain.
Falcao.
Jeez. Pato.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. We've got a who's who. Eto'o.
Lukaku.
Yeah, it's a who's who of some of the best strikers in the history of the last 20 years of football.
Oh, yeah. If you took all these players in their prime, you wouldn't. It's almost impossible to choose your best 11
Yeah.
of players who have played for Chelsea
Mm.
all time in their prime.
Yeah.
Like, who do you pick up front? Apart from Dids.
Well, they've all sucked.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Barely any of them have hit like 14, 15 goals.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. And we now have a new one. We have Aubameyang. And it's a case of going, well, he's proven he can score in the Premier League.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that with many of these strikers is they've never shown they could score goals in the Premier League.
Yeah.
We've taken them and they haven't done it.
Yeah.
So like your Shevchenko.
I mean, Lukaku kind of did. Just didn't work.
Thing is, he scored goals, but he never scored as many goals as he should have.
Mm.
Like, you have certain players, like an Aubameyang at Arsenal. He scored the kind of amount of goals you expected from the player at the time in the team he was in. If
Yeah.
anything, he did better than that.
Mhm.
Whereas we took someone like Lukaku, who was absolutely banging them in for Inter Milan, had Premier League experience with Everton and United, didn't really have any with us.
And we made him into a Chelsea striker.
Yes, and we did full on Chelsea to him
Yeah.
and made that disgrace of
We
a
were just
player.
we were just looking for another Drogba. That's the problem.
Yes, and we have looked for another Drogba since the moment he retired.
Outside
Or
of-
left the club, I should say.
Outside of Diego Costa, we've
Yes.
had no success in strikers.
But then even Costa was great, but it was almost like a flash in the pan.
Mm.
He fell off quite quick. Obviously,
Yeah.
there was the whole issue with Conte and
Yeah.
the text where he was basically told, "Oh yeah, by the way, you're not on my plans anymore. Don't come back."
Mm.
All very strange.
Very.
But yeah, one striker in what, like 20? I think our best bet would have been Abraham.
I agree.
The idea of selling him is still one that I just can't wrap my head around.
And the weird thing is, and let's be honest, in today's football, stats are king.
Mhm.
His stats were pretty miles ahead of any other attacking options we had. He
Yeah.
was our top goal scorer from playing like half the games or something ridiculous. I
Yeah.
don't know the exact numbers, but I remember the last season we had him. I think it was in the Lamps.
Yeah, the Lamp season.
Yeah, he was great,
Mm.
and I'm never going to
But-
understand. We don't know what goes on the training pitch. We don't know
No.
what goes on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, if I was a coach, if I was a manager,
Mm.
if I had a great player, but he was an asshole and he was ruining the mood in the dressing room, I wouldn't want him.
No. Well, that's the reason why Arsenal are said to have sold Aubameyang.
Yeah.
Because he was a bad influence in the dressing room. Conflicting stories depending on who you ask.
Yeah.
But that seems to be the way it went.
He seems okay to me.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
there's many people like Tuchel wanted him because he'd worked with him before.
Yeah.
He was not a bad influence back then.
Yeah.
Maybe he did better at Dortmund, so he was a happier person,
Mm.
better there. Where Arsenal can be Arsenal, so you never know
It's true.
if you can accept the way that goes as much. Like if he's a born winner and they're not winning anything, he might struggle with that.
Yeah.
But whether it was a bad mentality in that he's corrupting the youth, or if it was a bad mentality because he's a winner
Mm.
and they weren't winning, you
Yeah.
don't really know.
Yeah, it's true. Okay, let's talk a little bit about this then. So we'll talk
Okay.
specifically about Aubameyang first, and then we'll talk about new players in general. What we need, who we think could come in.
You mean after the 200 and whatever million pounds it ended up on in the summer?
So we're starting there. So obviously Chelsea broke the transfer window spending record.
Yep, to buy Tuchel's players.
Yes, and that's exactly where I'm going with this. Aubameyang is very much Tuchel's signing.
Yes.
He didn't even get the opportunity to play in the Tuchel, did he?
Yes, he did. He got
Oh,
56 minutes.
Yes, okay, there we go. The
Or something
one-
like 50. Yeah, he got like 56 minutes of reunion and then wave goodbye.
Yeah. Now, this is the thing. We know that Aubameyang's not in his prime as such. He's not a youthful player. Was he
No.
33? I want to say.
Yes, 33.
He may not even be in Potter's plans. Well, I assume he will be this season because he hasn't had
Well,
the chance to recruit himself.
yeah.
But I really very
mean-
much see Aubameyang being a one-season player, if that.
I think he'll be there for a couple, but I think he'll only be starter for this season.
Mm.
I'm actually hoping, and this is nothing against Aubameyang, because if he can hit the form that he's capable of, he will be incredible.
Mhm.
I just hope to see Broja kick
Yeah,
on.
I agree.
When he came on against Salzburg, he was our brightest spark. He
Yeah.
was the one who looked most like creating something and scoring. Okay,
Mr. Sitter.
yeah, once again, the finishing, not up to scratch, but that just seems to be a Chelsea curse.
Yeah.
So, you know it. If we went and sold Broja to West Ham like the rumors were in the summer, he probably would have already got 5-6 goals.
Yeah.
Because you know that's just how it goes.
Mhm.
But I feel like he could be the longer term solution, even if we don't expect him to score every week. Because that was one of the things when we had a player like Drogba, is he was the striker in the team, he was the focal point, but that didn't mean we expected him to score every week. But we knew he was going to be pivotal in the goals that we scored,
Yeah.
whether as a goal, as an assist, or just creating the space for the others to do those things. Whereas
Yes.
now it feels like our striker is, you got to score a goal or you don't seem to do anything else, which means most games they don't seem to do a lot at all.
True. But this goes back to Haaland, and I
Mhm.
feel like a striker's job is to score goals.
Yes.
If they're not scoring goals, they're not worth the money. However, obviously Haaland's scoring goals. The other thing which we touched on in a previous video is Haaland is so intimidating that he does draw defenders,
Oh, yes.
which gives opportunities to other players.
Mm.
We don't like Aubameyang has proven he's a great finisher, great striker. I don't think he has that same fear factor. You know, so if he's not scoring, what is he offering?
No. Yeah, that is the problem. And especially at the moment, like, I think he's being forced into the team when he shouldn't be playing yet.
Yeah.
He's still got this face mask. You can tell he didn't want to challenge for a header.
Mhm.
You tell he didn't want to go where there were going to be arms flailing,
Yeah.
which you can understand. He's been through a traumatic time.
Yeah.
He got his own house broken into and attacked, broken jaw. Like, it's not easy just to go back to work from that. So
No.
you understand it, which I feel like is harsh for him to be thrown in and become a scapegoat.
Yeah.
Because he's probably not ready yet. When we got a player like Broja on the bench who is ready,
Yeah.
give Aubameyang the chance to come on for the last half an hour, 20 minutes. If we, like last night, if it had been him coming on late, I think we could have seen more of him, because I just feel like that would have been a better impact than going on from the start.
Mhm.
But again, it does kind of come back to Graham Potter and his tactics of why he's doing that.
Yes. I guess the last thing I really want to touch on now then is, for Potter, is the solution a change in tactics, or is it we just need new players? Is it not a tactical problem, but it's a squad problem?
I think there's a couple of things that would solve this.
Okay.
One, a fit Kante. Something we
Yeah,
haven't
we-
really touched
yeah, we
on,
haven't,
and
yeah.
I feel like it's something we will touch on properly another time.
Mhm.
But a fit Kante and a Kante not in the starting 11 for Chelsea really affects the results.
I hate saying that one player makes all that difference, but I agree. Yeah.
He is just that good. Like, again, it's the same Man City. They're not a one-man team with Haaland, but that one man makes you a hell of a much better team.
Yeah.
Same as Kante being in the team. Like, if I had the choice now and someone went, okay, you got a double pivot midfield and you can have Jorginho in there
Mhm.
and Kovacic,
Mhm.
or you can have Kante and either one of the others.
Mm.
Kante is first.
Yes.
It doesn't matter. I would take Kante and Kovacic as the starting two
So would I.
every day of the week.
But all of our managers seem to love Jorginho for some reason.
Yeah, he's a good passer with the ball. I think
Yeah.
he's good if a team really wants to sit back and not press us. But the issue is teams have realized they can press him and our defense, and we will make mistakes.
Yes, and he is full of them.
Yes. So I think he's a good player to bring on if you need to unlock a team. He can
Yeah,
find
I
that
agree.
pass.
I agree.
But again, he's another one of these. I just don't necessarily want to see him starting every game.
Mm.
Like, I'm not saying he's bad, just saying he doesn't suit it when they really want to push up and press you from the front.
I agree.
So, yeah, kind of the point of all that was we need Kante back.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that will automatically make Potter seem like a genius, just having Kante fit,
True, but this doesn't answer my question.
which was
The answer, is it a tactical
Mhm.
mix-up,
okay. Yes.
or is it a squad problem?
I think it's a mentality problem within the
Okay.
squad, which is something that Graham Potter has done. He has studied it. He's got a degree in, I can't remember the exact degree he's got, but basically in the mental health side of things.
Mhm.
I think they need to figure out what this block is with the squad and being unable to finish.
Yeah, it's
So-
weird.
It's like all these players have proven they can finish at one time or another. It's the consistency of it they seem to just be totally incapable of doing.
Oh.
While at Chelsea,
Hmm.
as soon as that shirt goes on, they are unable to do it. If he can unlock that problem, solve it, and even just like we need half the amount of shots for the goals, or
Yeah.
double the amount of goals for the amount of shots we take, like that would be enough.
It doesn't even feel like it's a finishing problem. Sometimes, I'm not saying this is a consistent thing, but it feels like it's just a shooting problem. I feel like so often we're getting into good positions and you just want to scream, shoot, and it's not happening. I just don't understand why.
Yeah, we won't shoot at times which you're like, it's a great chance to test the keeper. And then we do shoot at times where you're like, well, you're obviously getting blocked here.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's that decision making and the mental side of it that I feel like our squad just doesn't click. It's not there yet. And that's where the winning mentality is just not with our squad right now. And it's why I can't see us actually challenging for a title. I felt like we had it a bit last season at the beginning, but we lost it. Whether it's a certain player not being in the squad, if there's something going on behind the scenes, you don't know. But that is, I feel, the number one thing that needs to be fixed.
So you're saying it's not tactical.
Nope.
It's not
I
a
think
squad problem. It's purely a
I
mental
think
problem.
I think it's a mental problem.
I just find it mad that there can be a mental problem that goes around an entire squad.
Well, it's one of the quotes I feel that lost Tuchel his job. Is he was asked
What needs
about
to be changed? Everything.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
basically like, why do you still have these problems? And he's because I've got the same players. So he's brought in a few, and obviously he'd only just started the season. But he's basically saying, like, there's a problem with this group
Yeah.
that needs to be changed. And you can't up and go and sell 20 players and sign a new 20 in one summer. I mean, some managers and chairman would love to try it, but you
Yeah.
can't do it.
No.
And when there's that underriding rot there, not saying the players are bad people or anything like that, but there's something there that doesn't work with this squad as a group, and
I
that
agree.
needs to be sorted at a mental level.
Maybe it's just chemistry.
Yeah.
More than like a mental
They
one.
need to
Maybe
go-
it's chemistry
they
with this
need
squad.
to go out in London, sing some karaoke, bond. They need a Ted Lasso as their manager.
There you go. Okay. As always, guys, let us know in the comments. Tune in the discussion. Get involved. What do you think, if anything, Graham Potter can do to try and help Chelsea? The problems are there. They're evident. But what can he do? Do you agree with James? Is it a mental thing? Is it a chemistry thing? Is it a squad problem? Is it a tactical problem?
Is it a Kante thing?
Is it a Kante thing? That needs to be a t-shirt. New merch. It's a Kante thing.
The Kante effect.
The Kante effect. I love it. Right, guys, that's it from us. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you next time.
Bye, guys.